Ms. Legalista here. Thank you for joining the video. Now, in the past, I've talked about some of the fraud that has occurred from people's bank account at banks like Wells Fargo, JP Chase, Bank of America in passing. But I want to focus now on some of the things that you don't understand when you have these accounts and you get ready to say, hey, Wells Fargo, JP Chase Bank, and Bank of America, and some other ones out there too. I've had something happen with my account. Somebody tricked me into sending them something, clicking on a link, doing whatever. And you go report that to the bank, and the bank says, hey, we'll look into it and we'll let you know. And a lot of times it's a denial. I am going to show you the small print, the fine print, the not bolded, not underlined, this kind of print that unless you're really looking for and thinking about, you're just going to miss it. And I'm going to show you why you're going to miss this. Actually, I'm going to put on my glasses because I want to make a point about this too. I want to make a point about how tiny this print is. Let me click on this so that you can see what I see. Now, when I go to the website, this is at 100%. Okay, it's not small. And let me just double check. Let's click on this. Let me click on this and make sure that it says 100% up here in terms of the size. Yes, this is 100%. So when I pull this up, this is what I see. But I'm going to make it bigger for you. Why? Because when you go to the website, you're going to see that small stuff and you're not going to want to read it because it is very small. I'm going to make it big because I have a point here that I want to make when you're looking at these accounts and trying to figure out, hey, what do I do now that I've had some fraud on my account? All right, so it says here, online access agreement. Refers to all of these little agreements for some of your accounts here. Your use of Wells Fargo Online, Wells Fargo Business Online, Wells Fargo Mobile, Wells Fargo Advisors Online Services. And right now I'm just picking on Wells Fargo. I will take some time, do some other videos on maybe JP Chase and Bank of America and some of the other larger financial institutions out there. Now, suppose you have had something happen like I said before, and you clicked on a link and, you're wondering. People say, hey, call up the bank real quick. Call them up. Call them up within a day. Call them up within an hour. Call them up. Do I have 30 days? How much time do I have? Well, if you go to this website, which I will include in the description, it says your liability. Oh, okay, great. So what's my liability look like in some of these instances? Well, let's point out what they say you have to do. And then I'm going to show you the kicker in all of this. The one word that is going to doom you, seal your fate to not having this fraud be their liability and not yours. It says, look, event, say you have a loss or theft of your access device, including username and password. If you notify us within 2 business days after learning of the loss or theft, your liability won't exceed, look, the lesser of $50 or the total amount of the unauthorized electronic funds transfer that occurred before notice to us. Look at that. Okay. So you're thinking to yourself, 2 days, I can do it. If I set up notifications, if I call them up, if I go over there, 2 days, I can make that happen. I know that's what you're thinking. Look at this next one. If you notify us more than 2 business days after learning of the loss or theft, but up to 60 days, and we send you a statement showing the first unauthorized transfer, it says your liability won't exceed the lesser of $500 or the sum, and you see some other things there. You go, oh, okay, gotcha. I might hit the 500 limit. If I let them know, I do what they say, that statement, I'm on top of everything. Okay, you're at the $500 mark. If you notify us more than 60 days after we send you a statement showing first unauthorized EFT made with your access device, your liability won't exceed, look at this, for transfers occurring within the 60-day period, the lesser of $500 or the sum of, and you see they've got these things here, $50 or the total amount. And I should really just make this bigger because this is still kind of small. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, how is that? That's somewhat bigger. I don't know that that's a whole lot bigger. for transfers occurring within the 60-day period. Look, lesser of 500. And there's a reason why I'm glossing over all of this. It's because it almost doesn't matter. And people sit back and wonder and they go, I don't understand. They had all of this stuff on this page that said, if you notify us, if you notify us, if you notify us, here's the time period. Here's when I have to do it by. And I did it. I did what they told me to do. Look at this one. Unauthorized EFTs not involving loss or theft of an device, including username and password. If you notify us within 60 days after we send you a statement on which the unauthorized transfer first appears, your liability won't exceed. Look, you have no liability. Look at that right there. Your liability won't exceed. You have no liability. Here's the next one. If it's after more than 60 days, it says, hey, unlimited liability for unauthorized EFTs occurring 60 days after the statement and before notice to us. Unlimited liability. So you have to read through this and figure out, well, what is my liability here? Sometimes I'm limited to $50. Sometimes I'm limited to $500. Sometimes it says no liability. Sometimes it says unlimited liability. So even if you make your way through all of this fine print, because it's not this big when you go on the website. You don't have to zoom in and sit down and spend some time reading through this, figuring out when the unauthorized transfer occurred, where you fall underneath this, and then calling up your bank and trying desperately to give you the money back, to reimburse you, to put the funds back in your account because it was some sort of fraud. It was a scam that took place and you were tricked out of your money. And after you do all of that, I want to say Bank of America, Wells Fargo comes back and they say, no, we're not giving you anything. We're not giving you anything because, sure, you came in here and you did this within 2 business days. You did it within 60 business days. You did it within 30. You came over to the bank and you talked to us. You got on the phone. It was before the first statement was received. Yes, you checked all of those boxes, but here's the problem. You authorized the transfer. You were scammed into it. Yes, we agree that it was fraud, but you authorized it. You clicked on the link. You sent the payment to the scammer. You didn't know it was a scammer. We hear you. We understand. But if you look at the language on this page, it says your liability for an unauthorized electronic funds transfer. And that's why people keep losing when they reach out to their bank that say, hey, we did what it says on the website. We did what it says in the agreement that you sent us. We did what it says on our statements, on our cards. We made that phone call. We did exactly what we were supposed to do. And what they're going to say is, yes, but you authorized the transfer. We understand you were tricked, but there you go. This is the piece that people miss. And so they do all of this, and we are surprised when we get back that letter that says no, because when you opened the bank account, multiple bank accounts in some cases, this was the term that you agreed to. And then guess what? Someplace in that agreement, it also says that they can change some of these terms and conditions. And you agreed that that would be the case and you would agree to the new terms and conditions as long as you received some sort of notification. And that's usually in that too. So this is the piece that people miss. And this is the part that people get caught off guard by. When they get that letter back and that letter says, yes, we've reviewed what you said, but you authorized the transfer. So I just want to make sure you understand what you are responsible for when you're clicking on some of these links and you're sending the payment, even though you're being tricked into doing it, that because you are authorizing it, your bank is saying it doesn't fall under this. And so therefore you now have the liability, and that money that you lost to the scammer with that authorized transfer, they're not going to give it back to you. All right. So I hope this gives you some information on what you are actually signing in some of these bank agreements so that you understand the terms, and hopefully it causes you to pause for just a second to say, wait, I remember that video where she said, if I click on that link, if I hit send, then I am authorizing the transfer to the scammer. And I am the one who is going to have to bear the liability of that. All right, that's a lot. Stay informed, stay vigilant. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Mwah. Peace.